Hi guys, hope you are all doing great. Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about boilerplate for vanilla JavaScript project. So I have opened up VS Code and I have opened up a specific directory and I'm going to be using the terminal of my VS Code. So first of all, for setting up a boilerplate for your vanilla JavaScript project, what you need to do is just go ahead and open up Node.js website and download Node for like specific operating system you are using. So now once you download it, you need to install it in your system, and after that you can have any of the IDE. I'm using VS Code in my system. You can use Sublime or Atom or any other video editor, right? So first of all, what we need to do is once the node is installed, we will have the node and npm installed in our system. So in the terminal, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating a new project using a command npm init -y, right? -y we won't ask us simple questions like these are the questions. I just let it create all these key value pairs by itself, right? So this is the package.json already created. It manages the project information, project name, version, description, and all the external third-party packages that we are gonna be using, right? Now, what we need to do is we're gonna install few of the packages for compiling the over JavaScript files into a minified files, and also we are gonna be using the Babel packages that will make the project files compatible with the older JavaScript versions in older browsers, right? So now what we need to do is in the terminal we are going to install a few packages, right? So npm install --save dev. --save dev means that the packages that I'm about to install are only related while I'm developing the app. These are not required after we publish our app and it runs on the browser, right? Obviously, boilerplate is used to facilitate us for the building the project, for running the project, and not the internal functionality. So I'm going to be using --save -dev, right? So Webpack is one package that I'm going to be installing. Other one is Webpack CLI, and the third one I'm going to be using Webpack dev server, right? Hit enter. Now what it's gonna do is it's going to add these packages in my project. It's going to download all of these packages as well as the internal dependencies of these packages, right? It's going to add its reference in my package.json file, and also it's going to install all these packages within the folder called node underscore modules. So now you can see that it has added its references over here, and also node modules folder have been installed, and package log.json also gets created by itself. So when you are about to, just giving you an information, when you are about to push your code in the repository on Bitbucket, GitHub, or anywhere, you don't put these node module folder and package log files in the repository. Anybody who clone this repo can actually install all these node modules packages just by referring the dev dependencies that we have added over here. Okay, so now these are installed. Now I'm gonna create few folders inside it. So first of all is the source folder, src, and the disk folder is the folder that this webpack is gonna be using to put the minified files that we're gonna be creating by ourselves, right? So what Webpack provides us is it actually let us use the latest modern JavaScript. Like we can have the like import, export multiple variables, functions, and as well as the classes in JavaScript. We don't need to refer these files in the HTML of our project, right? So what I'm gonna do is first of all, let me create an index.html file over here, right? And inside it, I'm gonna be using in VS Code, if I write exclamation mark and tab, and it's going to create all of these things by itself, right? So here I can change anything inside it. JavaScript boilerplate, right? So inside it, I can have h1 class, and I can put the class over here, right? So this is the element that I have created. Now I'm going to refer the JavaScript file within this HTML file, and that JavaScript file is going to be created with Webpack by itself. I'm not going to create that file, and the name of that file would be the main.js. So I can create script src main.js, right? It's not yet created, and Webpack is going to handle it and create all these files, right? So but what are the files that it's going to convert and minify it in the main.js, right? So what I can do is I can create a file inside it, and I can write index.js, right? So I can write anything inside it. So let's say uh, I can write document. Let's add some DOM manipulation. Get element by class name. So I added the main class dot inner text equals to this is my first boilerplate. I'm hoping this is the correct JavaScript syntax, because a long time back I used vanilla JavaScript. I've been actively using the frameworks of JavaScript for a long time now, right? So let's hope that it will work. Right. So, but in the package.json file, this object is going to be responsible for running the scripts, right? So for actually running and build our project with Webpack, let me create a build command, and I'm going to pass it a Webpack. Let me add a comma, right? Let's save all these files. And now in the terminal, let me just verify all these things are added. Yeah. In the terminal, I can write npm run, and I can write anything that is added over here. I can write test, which is nothing but simply echo the text. And I can run the build, and it's going to detect whether the dist folder is created. Yes, it is created. And it's going to run the webpack command, and it's going to check the source folder as well. And whatever the JavaScript is added over here, it's going to be minified and converted in the dist folder, right? So npm run build, and it's going to run that webpack command. You can see it has run the webpack command, and now there is some warning that we can ignore it at the moment, and we will be fixing it later after we set up the Babel, right? So you can see main.js has been created. If I just open it up, and it has created all the bunch of these code, and also our code as well at the end, right? So this is the code, and the previous code is added by you can say a Webpack. That let us use the import export functionality of the objects. So what do I mean by it? If you have use a framework for JavaScript like Angular, React, you must know that how the import export works. So like I can create any JavaScript inside it, like var variable.js, right? And inside it, I can create any variable. Let's say const hello, and I can write hello world. This is my first ever boilerplate in Webpack, right? So hello has been created. Now I need to export it from here. So export default hello, right? So this thing we can't do in vanilla JavaScript. It's only allowing us to use it because we are using Webpack, right? So in the main, in the index.js, what we can do is we can import it So import, and we can have hello from, we are in the same directory, so variable, we don't need to write .js extension after it. So hello, right? It's a simple string, so we can directly write it over here, hello, right? So now it's going to be fetched from this file, and it's going to be added over here, and it's going to be minified within the main.js, right? Let me rebuild it. Right, so our main.js has been updated. Let's go over here, and you can see this text is coming from the variable.js file, and it's going to be appended over here, right? So now we have this class main.js h1 main.js, and we have this file. So how can I test this index.html, right? So here you can see dist folder is what we are going to be deploying, and you can deploy this dist folder. So what is the purpose of Webpack here? We can directly write JavaScript file and upload it on the server. Actually, when you have written the JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript, it can easily be accessible from the browser. So for security purpose, you need to minify your all JavaScript files into some kind of JavaScript minified files, just like the main.js. In that case, nobody can understand your code because it's minified. There is a lot of code existing in the main.js file. Usually what happens is you have like thousands or the millions of lines of code in the minified JavaScript files. Nobody can crack that out and understand your logic and use your files in his own project, right? So this is the purpose of minified files. Then that's why we use Webpack to compile and build these files, right? Okay, so now we have this main.js. Let me come over here and open up index.js. And if we want to run it on our server, Webpack allow us to run a local server where we can test how it is looking like after deploying our app. Okay, so what we can do is, let me add another build watch command, watch, and we can write Webpack and watch, right? So what it does is, it actually, whenever we make any change in our JavaScript files, it rebuilds the project, and we don't need to close the server and like rebuild the files, right? So let me just rerun the build command, right? So it is built. Now what we can do is we can have another command, and we can have develop as a key, and we can use webpack dev and server, right? And after that we can add open flag that will open it up on the browser, and we can watch as well. We can have other build commands script added in other script commands as well. So npm run watch. So what it will do is it will also run our app on the browser, and it will also keep on watching if any change is occurring in JavaScript file, or we are keep on developing our app. It's going to keep on refreshing every time we save our files after making any change, right? So let me just rebuild it just to verify. Npm run build, and now npm run develop, right? So it has opened up localhost 8080 in my browser, and we can see all the files of our project. And if I open up the dist, it will have an index.js file, right? Index.html file, sorry. So there is an error, I think. Okay, it should output the string. So this one, index.html h1. Let me open it up. Oh, it is main.js. Sorry guys. Let me just open it up, and I'm going to write query selector. And we have this main as a class, and I'm going to put it the hello, right? So I'm going to rebuild it using npm run build command. So it's going to update a main.js, right? So query selector main inner text. Okay. So let me run it now. Npm run develop. Okay. So let me open it up, and it has opened it up in a separate browser. Click on dist, and now you can see that it has printed out this text, right? I'm not sure why it wasn't working, like get element by class name. It's a vanilla JavaScript I've been using a long time ago, but this video is about Webpack and the Babel, right? So you have got an idea that how the Webpack works. You can configure the Webpack in your project. So what you can do is you can keep having this index.js file and can add a lot of JavaScript file within this source folder, right? And you can like export all the code just like it and include that code by importing it inside it and perform all the DOM manipulation. In this way, the whole JavaScript will be minified in the main.js file. Okay. So now we need to use Babel now, but before that, let me create another file for the Webpack configuration. So right, webpack.config.js, and inside it we can specify that we don't actually want to navigate from here to dist folder. It should directly open up this particular page, right? And we don't want to expose all the folders of our app to the users, right? So for that we can have a webpack configuration file. So module.exports equals to, we can write the mod. We are still developing our app, so we can set the mode of development. We can change it if we want to deploy it. Right, so we have the dev server, and here we can have the content base, and this is the content base, right? So for now that's it. Let me rebuild it, and for rebuilding, npm run build, and this is the command that we can use. Let's run it, npm run develop. So it's going to open the tab in the browser, localhost colon 8080. Now you can see this is the base domain, and it is not showing any of the folder in our project. So guys, you can have a lot of configuration uh, values over here. Just look into the webpack documentation, right? But you need to add all the configuration things in the webpack.config.js file, right? So let me close the server now. Let's set up the Babel. What Babel does is it will make your app available and compatible for the older browsers as well. So it is like the conversion and transpilator of from the new JavaScript to the older ES versions, right? ECMAScript versions. So for that you can install npm install hyphen hyphen save hyphen dev, and Babel is also used for only for development, not for the production, right? So that's why we're using this flag. So at sign Babel core, and we can have Babel preset env, and we can have Babel loader, right? Hit enter, and it's going to download this Babel packages from the internet, and it's going to add its references within the package.json file, right? So as long as it's going to download it from the internet, let me add some of its configuration, right? So I'm going to create a new file over here, and I'm going to create Babel rc, right? So inside it, you needs to have like presets, and it contains more than one values but in the form of strings. So at Babel preset env, right? So let's save this configuration file for Babel, and in the package.json, you can see these are added over here, right? Nice. Now in the Webpack, what you need to do is you need to have another uh, property, another object over here that will be named as module, and we are going to set the rules, right? And for actually rules is an array, and inside it we can have an object, so we can have the test. So it's going to make it all the JavaScript files compatible. We need to uh, give the path of all the JavaScript files, but other than path we can have it like look around whole project, and wherever you find the JavaScript file, you need to make it compatible, browser compatible for older versions, right? Now we are going to use loader. So loader, and we're going to use Babel loader. Fine. And lastly, we are going to exclude node modules. We want Babel to not to include node modules because these are just for development. We don't want it to be go into the production. This is just for like we're going to use it locally. So exclude node underscore modules. Right, let's save it. Now let me rebuild npm run build. Right, so you can see that it has built over all the JavaScript files. It has excluded node modules, and it's going to exclude all the unnecessary files and make it compatible with the older browsers as well. So you can see this is the file that it has created. It's not easily like crackable. It's also almost impossible and for hackers to actually look around. That's why we're using Webpack for compilation, right? So let me just run npm run develop. So it's going to open it up in the browser, and it's going to run our project in the browser. All right, guys. So hello world. This is my first ever boilerplate Webpack. And if I write anything inside it, let me just open it up. Uh, Let me directly add it inside it. Usually we don't do it, but hello to h2. Hi guys. So let's see in the terminal if it compiles itself, right? So I intentionally wrote it inside it just to let you guys know that this is the dist folder. It is only gets created when we build the project, right? So for development, we can't actually make it detectable using Webpack. What we can do is we need to make changes in the source folder, because this is the folder that we use for the development, right? So Webpack and Webpack and Babel, right? This is what I have changed. Now let's save it. Now you will see it has compiled again successfully, and it has refreshed this tab as well, and it is running on the local host 8080. All right, guys. So whenever you want to like use the vanilla JavaScript for a smaller and the smallest project, then for actually deploying your code, you don't want to deploy the actual JavaScript files, but the minified files and the compatible files. You can use Webpack and Babel. You can look around the Babel and Webpack documentation to see all the options and the important things it provide us. But the basic things and the setup, I have explained it to you. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe my channel and comment below if you have any question. Share this video and stay tuned, and I'm going to create more videos on the latest technologies of JavaScript.